second chance in the game.
A little bit of information about myself. I'm the head coach and offensive coordinator here. It's my 6th year at New Pal, my 6th year as a head coach overall. You'll see my contact information down here at the bottom. If you have any questions, please feel free. Shoot me an email. That's the school phone number there. They'll direct you to my office phone. If I don't pick it up, please leave a voicemail if you choose to. At the bottom there is my Twitter handle. I know a lot of people like using social media as far as information gathering and being able to follow people. I do the same thing, so that's a great way to be able to get a hold of me there as well. Who we are, New Pal is a 5A school. We're a 5A school by success factor here in Indiana. Because of our playoff success, we're actually a 4A school by enrollment that's playing up a division. About 20 minutes outside Indianapolis, we've got just shy of 1,200 kids in the building here. We had our biggest team this season. As far as number is concerned, we had 54 players on JV and varsity in total. In the last 6 years here, my 6 years, we are 74-4 overall. We're fortunate enough that we won the state championship this year in 5A. We won our first state championship in school history in 2014 when we were back in 4A, and we were runner-up in 2015 in 5A as well. And we've had a great run, some good kids, some great players that work tremendously hard, and great coaches as well. Our offense has been pretty explosive since I've been here. Some of our numbers, this is a 6-year average now, so you kind of get to see a good blend of our kids across the board, not just a good group or two. This is the average of all of them here. We're averaging 52.8 points a game, 6,100 plus yards this season, 476 yards a game, 10 turnovers a year. And achievements, as far as our offense is concerned, we've broken every school record in yards or scoring. We've broken the state record for yardage once, which still stands. We've broken the scoring record twice. This year we're top 45 in the United States in yards and yards per game, 8th in points and 4th in points per game. We led the country in 2015 in points per game. We were 2nd in yardage and 3rd in yards per game. We were number 2 in the country in 2014 in points and number 2 in the United States in points per game in those seasons. So we've had some very explosive offenses in my time here. Our identity, we want to run the football. And that's part of where this RPO stuff and the package plays had to branch off of is we want to run the football. I'm an offensive line guy. I like to run the football. We've had some great running backs here. We've had some, fortunately, some strong offensive linemen that can really move some people. And, that's who we are. And obviously some complications come from that when other teams have got some great players and some great coaching and they can do some things to stop your run game creatively. So, in our 78 games, we've run the ball about 70% of the time. We're averaging over 7.5 yards a carry, regardless of what quarter it is or who's carrying the football. That's great, and that's outstanding. And we want that to be who we are, but we had to find some ways to creatively kind of get around that stuff. So, who we are, we're up-tempo, no huddle. I think some of the RPO stuff is great with that as well. It just adds a little bit more to what defenses have to be able to stop and handle in such a short period of time. Our identity is our inside zone play, which is where a lot of the RPO stuff came off of, especially originally. That's where we began with it at. But that I think has been a contributing factor as well to this being successful on a smaller scale, is that we started it off with our identity play. And started in its simplest form and then went from there. So how we adapted our offense, in my early years here, my first and second year, we started to kind of realize that people were trying to really creatively defend the things that we did with some of those alley defenders and those run pass defensive players, and it kind of cost us in the playoffs late there. We played a team that ended up being the state champion that year, and they had some really great answers to the things that we did, and we maybe did not quite have the best responses to those things. And so we spent a lot of that offseason investigating how it is that we could get better at some of that stuff. And one of the things that kept popping up 6 years ago was getting involved in some of the RPO stuff that was kind of the cutting edge deal back then. Oddly enough, when I was back in Ohio, back in even 2008 and 9, the team that I was on, we kind of stumbled across this out of necessity, not even knowing really what we were doing was the RPO stuff. And that was really early. We just kind of by dumb luck stumbled upon it out of necessity and had actually been doing this stuff for quite a while. So I got to at least call back to some of those experiences here a little bit to try to maybe find a solution to some problems up here. So the answer then, we decided our best choice was to do some of this RPO stuff going into 2014. We knew that we had a good quarterback coming back that was going to be a junior that year, and we felt like this was going to be a great way to help our offense advance through that season is by getting this RPO aspect involved in our offense. The way that we do it, again, just because of simplicity, our offensive linemen block the running play. They will go downfield. I know a lot of people are concerned about the illegal man downfield stuff. It's happened to us once in the times that we've done this, and that was mainly my fault because I kind of alerted the officials that the other team was doing this stuff, and then they obviously had watched our film and then called me out and said, "Coach, aren't you doing the same thing?" And I said, "Well, kind of, I guess." And then they ended up giving us a penalty on it in the game. So lesson learned, just shut your mouth about it. Don't say anything about it and just let it happen. But we went to this in 2014 and started to build towards it in our off season. We're kind of fortunate here in Indiana that we're allowed to practice in the summertime, so we had some opportunities to get ourselves better at this before the season actually started. And so that's what we decided to go with. So we knew we had a good quarterback, but this was going to be a 2-year process. I mean, it was kind of a development through the back end of 2013, and then, like I said, through the summer of going into 2014, and then it was a continual ongoing process throughout the season of 2014. It took a lot of time and patience. I'm going to be very honest here. I know a lot of people are big on the RPO stuff, and to be quite frank, I think that the internet is full of people who just do these things so that they can put pictures and film and clinic stuff out about how they throw RPOs, and then you look at it and they're not winning football games. You need to have a very good quarterback to be able to do this stuff. If you don't have a smart quarterback who's a good wheelman, who can really drive that car, this is not something advisable. It is very difficult to handle, especially for my guys having to play both ways. We have limited practice time to do a lot of this stuff. To be honest, we have not done more of the advanced things in recent years. We were significantly more advanced 3 and 4 years ago in RPOs than we are right now. And that doesn't make a lot of sense to a lot of people because you think you would just keep getting better and better and better at it. We just have not had the quarterback to do these types of things, and I refuse to put them in a position to be unsuccessful and a position where they're not comfortable so that I can build up clinic film and be able to talk to people about all these crazy RPOs that we do. I would much, much rather have my quarterback have confidence in himself, confidence in our system, and win a lot of football games than have a little bit of tape to show. So that's kind of my warning on this stuff. It's great. I think it's wonderful. It has absolutely enhanced our offense here, but it is something that you really need to use with caution and not do and use RPOs just to say that you do. Your job as a coach is to put your kids in a position to win and then win that football game. And if it's with these, great. If it's without them, that's fine too. So how we started to use these things, we got into this and again, it started very simple. Everything came off our inside zone play, and we started with our simplest throw, which was a bubble. And that became our first RPO. We worked down the chain and went to the now routes, the hitch routes, slant routes, speed outs, and then eventually we got ourselves into some downfield throws like fades. Again, this took 2 years to build. It is not something that you can accomplish overnight and think that you're going to be efficient at it. Now, if we want to, we can throw it from every formation or play that we have, but it is not something that's just going to occur over the course of a couple sessions. This is incredibly difficult for young kids to be able to master and do properly. So how do you choose them, I think, is the next big piece here. Obviously, you want throws that your quarterback is good at. Weekly, it is dependent upon the defensive alignment. How are they going to play you? How are they going to react? The next factor, obviously, is it safe and simple? Again, you want your quarterback to have confidence in himself. If you're continuously calling these things and he's turning the ball over, he's throwing incompletions, he's making wrong reads, he's losing confidence in himself, and then the team's losing confidence in him as well, that becomes problematic. Again, at the end of the day, it's about your kids being comfortable and being confident and you winning football games. I can't tell you how many of these people I see out there that are putting all this RPO stuff and air raid stuff out there on the internet, and their teams are 2-8 or they're 1-9. Nobody's interested in that. And that's not what is good for your team or for your kids. So safe throws, simple reads, start easy, and then build from there. If you've got a kid who's supremely talented, you can likely add more onto his plate, and he can handle it. The next thing we look for is what's going to stress a defense the most, what route combinations give them the most difficulty in stopping with their scheme. Maybe it depends on how their corners play. If their corners are shuffle bail technique guys, then we throw speed outs for our RPOs. If they're square hip guys, we might throw slants. It just depends on what route they're going to struggle covering the most, and then you're going to choose that route and go with it here. So again, the last piece here, especially as a head coach and a coordinator, is does it align with your overall plan for the week? Is this something that's worth putting the time into? At the end of the day, is the squeeze going to be worth the juice on this? Because you're going to put a lot of effort into these things, and if you're only going to throw them maybe once or twice a night, is that worth the amount of time it takes to actually be good at these things? And that becomes a major problem. We put a lot of time into this a couple of years ago, and they were great for us, but we had the ability to do so. The last few years, we haven't had the ability to do so. We put less time into it. We work on the other things that we do and try to be really good at those. And again, this year we were rewarded with a state championship, and I can probably count the amount of RPOs that we threw on one hand. And we won 14 games and didn't lose a single one, and we're a state champion. So at the end of the day, is it really worth putting a lot of the time into this stuff in the overall picture? Again, that's your choice. If it is, then you go with it, and you go with it full speed ahead. If it's not, then maybe you work on something different. RPOs on game day now. So you've gotten everything done. Here is kind of the reason why we have gotten away from these a little bit, along with some of the talent level and ability of our quarterback position to understand and execute these things. Number one, are they simple enough to be adaptable? The major reason we have gotten away from our RPO game the last couple seasons is that, and we chart this, at a minimum, 70% of Friday nights when we walk out there, the defenses that we play don't do what they've shown on film for the last couple of weeks. They do something completely different or modify their defense dramatically to stop our offense because we've been so explosive. They may show a even front on tape for 3 weeks, and then we come out and they're playing 3-4, they're playing a bear front, or they're playing stack, or what have you. They're doing all kinds of different reductions and double gap, double A gaps, or what have you. Their coverages are different. Some teams don't ever play cover zero, and we walk out there and they play strictly man the entire night. It happens. 70% of the time, that's something that we have to deal with. So as the head coach and the coordinator, I'm not willing to sacrifice our practice time on the RPO game stuff when the odds are on Friday we're not going to get what we have prepared for. It's just not beneficial for us. That's changed the last couple of years. Teams used to come out and they used to line up and try to play square with us, and so we could do these things. The last couple of years, that hasn't been that way. I think this season in 14 games, I think 10 of the 14 games that we played, the team that we played did not play the defense that they'd shown on film a single time, and that's difficult. Again, if you force your quarterback into this anyway, what you're going to get is turnovers, and you're going to get a huge loss in confidence, and that's a problem. Next thing on game day, is there a place for them? Again, I know that it sounds like maybe I've been a little bit negative on some of this stuff here, but I think there absolutely is a place for them. Now, here's where we've gone to a little bit. Many of the ones that we do now are very simple in nature. They come off of passes that we throw on a routine basis. And so what we've done is we will have to get the feedback from obviously the game going through its normal course and figuring out what the defense is trying to do to us that particular Friday night. But we also get our kids to give us great feedback on that stuff. And it's been a really interesting byproduct of them knowing that we can do these things. They have done a tremendous job of kind of being their own coaches on Friday night, that when they go out there, hey, coach, look, I'm trying to get in here to block this guy on this particular play, but man, he's really firing down in there fast. And then that's pairing up with our sideline and box feedback. And now we can execute one of these simple RPO throws. Maybe it's a bubble, maybe it's a now, maybe it's a hitch, something like that, where we don't have to maybe put a lot of practice time into this. We can just work on that in the moment. Hey, this is something that we do really well inside zone. This is what their response to that is. Here's a very simple pass that we throw off of that to attack this kid who is charging into the box when he sees a run. We're going to throw a 5-yard hitch out there. And we throw 5-yard hitch routes in practice every single day. Now our quarterback is doing something that he's tremendously comfortable with, and it's not extra practice time on our part. Again, that kid ownership and responsibility is great. They've become a lot more aware of their surroundings. I'm very happy with how this has gone. Instead of forcing them into these RPOs, we have allowed it to kind of happen on its own naturally, which is great. And maybe that doesn't work for you, maybe it does. Maybe having the stricter guidelines of these are the exact things that we're going to throw. Whatever works for you is best. This is just how things have gone for us, and it's been tremendously productive. So how did it go? You know, again, I think a lot of quarterbacks understand that this is something mentally difficult and challenging. So when they execute it well, I think they feel great about themselves, which is really important. You know, we can carry these things into every single game if we choose to. Some games we don't ever use a single one of them. You feel kind of bad about, you know, again, was that squeeze worth the juice? We didn't do that once. Sometimes the defense changes what they do. You don't get to use them at all because of that. Every once in a while we've hit one for huge plays, big touchdowns, etc. So they've been overall really good. Again, a little bit of buyer beware, but they've been solid for us. I think our kids have enjoyed it. Overall, the build to, I think, having RPOs in your offense was fun. It was fun for me as a coach to kind of challenge myself personally. I think it was fun for our players to know that they were doing something at a high level, but they also understand that, you know, we're going to do the things that we do. You know, we're going to run the football. We're going to try to run the ball well, and we'll take advantage of some of the passing game stuff when it presents itself. But I think for our kids, it was something they very much enjoyed being a part of and have enjoyed being a part of. And again, that mastery of their own game and their own craft right now is something that I think they really have embraced tremendously. So our RPOs essentially function in 3 phases. We're going to take a look at all 3 of those. You got your pre-snap, your snap, and your post-snap read. So we'll take a look at a little bit of tape on all these things here. Okay, here's a situation where this one obviously pays off big for us. This is our state championship game. We're going to read this linebacker here for our RPO on our inside zone. If he hard charges, we're going to just run a little sit-down hitch right here out of our number 2, our slot receiver. What we get out of this now is we hit the hitch, and then this corner actually bites way too far inside, and we end up blocking him, and he blows contain, and we squirt this one outside for a massive, massive touchdown here in the state championship game. So you can see that linebacker hard charge. There's our sit down to replace him. We fire it out there. Nice block out of the number 1 receiver there, and then we're just going to out sprint them to the goal line here. Again, simple play, very simple play. Doesn't have to be something crazy and complex. This is literally a 4-yard hitch that becomes a 70-plus yard touchdown. It's a very easy read. It's comfortable. Very simple standard stuff here. And again, if that guy would have gotten tackled right there at 4, 5, 6 yards, that's still a nice play. That's still a nice play right there. So we're looking for value out of these things. You know, that would be a 2nd and 4 for us. It's a great down if he just catches this ball and falls over. A couple quick shots. Here's one to the bottom of the screen on a speed out. All right, we got a shuffle bail corner here. We're going to read this outside linebacker. This one is a post snap, and this ball is going to be in the belly. That ball's in the stomach of the tailback right now. All right, we get this linebacker to hard charge. You can see why we chose a speed out here. That corner is going to shuffle bail. He's blind to the sideline. Okay, there's the speed out. There's the throw on time. Catch. We get a missed tackle in space. We get this ball inside the 5-yard line here. All right, again, simple, easy, sharp throw, singular read. Okay, nice live arm out of our quarterback here. This quarterback won a state championship as a junior and then led us back. We're the state runner-up, a division above the next year. So this was kind of the guy that we built the system with a little bit. And you can tell he's got a pretty nice live arm that can really fire the ball out there. Okay, here's one into the boundary side. Okay, we're going to throw a hitch down here now. We're going to read this linebacker. He's tucked in relatively tight to the box. He's going to step forward here as well. And we're going to run a hitch on this soft cover 4 coverage here. Now this one we're going to extend it now. This one's going to be about an 8, 9-yard route here. We're going to try to get a lot of value out of this. Okay, you can see that ball is thrown right on at about 7.5 or so, and a nice easy catch turn and a good first down. That's a good 11-plus yard play here. There's the ball in the stomach, pull, throw. Again, you can tell quarterback, nice fast release, good live arm. That ball's come out in a hurry. It's got some zip on it. Okay, it's got some zip on it. Here it is again, different scenario. Linebacker's now tucked in the box to stop the run. We run the ball real well. They've brought him into the box. Pre-snap, he already knows this one's coming out. Okay, that linebacker's tucked in. He already knows. You can see the look's different. He doesn't even fake the ball to the stomach here. That ball is flashed quick to get this linebacker to move. He ends up blitzing here, and we get a really nice, easy catch at 10 for another first down on a hitch. Okay, again, simple stuff, simple throws, balls coming out fast. Running the football here, we're going to have some trouble. But because of the RPO possibilities, we get a really good 10-yard gain out of this particular play. Okay, go to a couple different clips. Here we go, one in practice time. This one's a slant off the backside. There's the ball to the belly. We get the read that we want. Here comes the scout team backer putting on pressure. There's your slant backside one-on-one. Okay, again, different route, different look, different defense. You can see how much space we have, how much green grass we have in here when we catch this football to be able to run with it. Okay, that's the look that we wanted. We catch him with a slant there, and this corner misses this tackle. It was 6 points. Okay, it was 6 points. So that was kind of our RPO look out of that scenario for the week right there. Okay, now here's one, again, to just show you what I was talking about earlier. This is a team that for years had played hard 50, played a hard 50 defense, never come out of it, never change, never do anything any different. And we practiced this all week. It's actually a really nice little RPO concept. We had a run read on this and a pass read, and that RPO wrapped in all that stuff. So if they played a hard 50, our run read is actually this guy. Our RPO read is actually this guy. So if both of them were on the line of scrimmage, we were going to throw the RPO to a front side. There's a front side RPO read here now. A front side hitch over here. So I'll show it to you. Here he comes. You can't see the guy yet, but there's the hitch in that massive window. They're playing a hard 50 cover 2. If all 7 of them are going to be in the box playing, then that window behind the box up to that stronger free safety is massive. So we want to take advantage of that. You can't run the ball into the 7-man box with just the 5 linemen and the read key. So we decided that we were going to do a little front side RPO read here. Really nice little concept, pretty simple. Okay, here we are executing in practice. Here it is again. Same deal, both of them are up there. Okay, we fire this one now off the backside, okay? Problem with this one is I have no game film of this because when we walked out on Friday night for the first time in years, this team completely changed their defense against us. And we practiced this all week long to take advantage of what they did, and then they didn't do this at all. Again, the issue with what I'm talking about, you know, it's all great. It all seems wonderful. We practiced this quite a bit throughout the week. We did not throw this route a singular time on Friday night. A lot of practice time spent, 0 game repetitions of this particular play. Again, this was the first year that we had gone to these things. This is back in 2014 full time. So we were really trying to work our way through them. It looks wonderful on tape, but I have no game film to show because we did not get that look at all and couldn't execute that level of RPO because we didn't get what we expected to get. Okay, another look here. This one now is going to be down the field. This is going to be a fade. Again, a team that rolls their coverage significantly and plays a lot of one-on-one shots backside. You can see us now, we're 15, 18 yards downfield out here, okay, running this fade now. So we can put these things down the field as well. It's not just short stuff we were doing. We were putting some of the long ones out there also. Now some of the short to intermediate stuff, the stuff that's pretty simple, things that we've gone to more recently here. Okay, this one's nice and quick, just a real nice fast now route. Box is loaded, quick now route. That's an easy 8 yards. Okay, easy 8 yards. Here we are, this is this year in a playoff game. Okay, we're running the ball extremely well. We're going to throw an RPO off of this kid right here. There he comes. We whip it out there. Probably should have expanded that slot a little bit more. He probably needed to get a little bit more width on that route. He kind of sat down and didn't get us a lot of space, but that's still a good 4-yard catch right there on a really short, quick, efficient RPO route right there, okay? So looking back now, again, staying on the theme of these short routes here, Now this one, obviously the structure of the defense is going to pretty much dictate that if you run the ball, you're going to a 7-man box here. You need to have some options. And that's why we like this a lot. Again, in some moderation, is we need some answers to that. We don't want to run the ball right into a 7-man box every play. They're playing a too high structure here. So now we're going to fire this bubble out real quick. Again, you see when this guy catches the ball, he's got so much green grass out here in front of him now. And a bubble really is just kind of a long handoff anyways, what a lot of people call it. And I would tend to agree. That's why we like it for some of our RPO stuff here is we're just horizontally stretching that defense so much now and letting our guys play in a lot more space here. And we get a really nice little carry out of this. You know, running in a 7-man box, you're going to find it pretty tough to get 15-plus yard runs like this, play in and play out. You add some of these, again, pretty simple type RPOs into what you do, though, and that right there is a really nice gain that gets us down into the red zone and gives us a chance to score here. Here's one off our trap play. You're going to see our guard pull here. Our left guard's going to pull. Again, we can throw this off anything. We're going to read this backer. Okay, he's kind of splitting the difference right now. So that guard pulls, you see him step down. We're throwing this bubble out here right now. Again, out in space, out in the green grass. Really nice, easy, simple, 7-yard, 8-yard gain. Okay, here's one in practice off power read. You're going to see our guard pull and wrap. We're going to go same side power read here. We're going to fire a bubble outside off of it. Okay, so there's one in practice, and we get this one in the game. Here's a shot of it in the game, just going the opposite direction. Here comes our right guard. He's going to pull and wrap. We're going to power read to the left, same side. Okay, we're quick into the belly. We get the read we want. It's pretty easy. All right, we get what we want out of these guys here. We're going to fire this bubble out, and now we've got our best receiver out in space. We're getting 2 decent blocks here. We slip in the mud a little bit, but we're getting 2 decent blocks here, and then we're one-on-one to the pylon with that free safety who's got to come all the way across that field now to make that play. We do a great job. Touchdown. All right. Now, a little more advanced here. Again, our quarterback was a solid player when we started to do this. He ended up playing Division II football. You know, he was very, very intelligent about these things. So this is one now, as you kind of build through it, he's going to RPO this mid-play off of a jet motion now. So here this guy comes across. We're going to run our jet motion and then inside zone back the opposite direction. He recognizes that nobody runs with the jet motion guy. They're not getting over there. There's no coverage roll. If it's man-to-man, the guy's not going to make it, whatever it might be. And so we would RPO off of some of these jet motions as well. Ball goes into the belly of the tailback. He pulls it, fires a bubble out. Now this is where it's difficult. Your receivers you got to have some patience with because they don't know if this is going to be the run or the pass. And it ends up being a pretty wide bubble here. And you can see my number 2 guy, he goes out and stalks his feet down and slips and falls because this defender goes so wide. It happens, okay? This is easily a touchdown if he keeps his feet. Now, I didn't yell at this kid for this. I mean, he's trying to block for an inside run, a quarterback pull, and a potential bubble all in the same play here. That's difficult. That's a difficult job. He's out there giving his best effort. He just slips on this one. You know, we still get 5 yards out of this. Not a bad little play, you know, but, you know, woulda, shoulda, coulda. I mean, I love him to keep his feet, but that's how it is. He's out there giving a good effort. He just lost his footing that time. It happens. But that's a pretty good look at, you know, if you got a quarterback that can really do this stuff, kind of the way you can really advance it through, all right? Here's another one that's a little bit more advanced as well. This is going to be off of our quarterback lead outside zone. Our offensive line is going to go ahead and we're going to all block outside zone to the right here. Running back's going to lead up. Our quarterback's going to follow him here. And then you're going to see he's going to read this corner because their corner have been making tackles on our quarterback outside zone stuff. So if that corner just freezes or steps up at all, then we're going to throw a fade right over this kid's head. So you can see our guy, it's already won. Our receiver just went right by him. He's turned, he's looking, he's lost our guy. If our quarterback didn't get the read, then he's going to just keep on running outside zone around the edge here, and we got a nice little play. But he gets what he wants out of the corner, so on the run, he throws that fade right in the hole. That's an explosive play. Okay, 25-plus yards, a really, really nice explosive play out of this. Now, I put these on here to just kind of show, so you've seen that other quarterback throw. I'm not knocking my guy because they're all my guys and I love them to death, but you've watched the other kid throw a couple of these now and really put some on a rope and really zip some of these balls downfield. All right, this was our quarterback then the following season who didn't have the same confidence and the same kind of swagger as the other quarterback did, or the experience, and not the same arm either. And so we still did a couple of these. All right, but you can see the trigger's a little bit slower. Okay, the trigger's a little bit slower here on the throw, and then the velocity on the ball is not the same either. Again, if you're gonna have these guys throw the ball down the field, okay, you're putting them in a bad spot. Having this guy, and again, I love this kid. He was a great, great, great young man, but he doesn't have the same arm, the ability, the quick release, the zip on the football the other guy did. And so doing some of these things was not going to be great for our football team. We did some other stuff instead, which I'll get to here in a minute, but it's just not going to be the same. Okay, again, here's kind of another look. Same thing, slow trigger, that ball's kind of lobbing out there, not the same zip as the previous guy had. Quarterback's not an easy job. And again, if I force this kid into doing these things so that I look really smart as a coach, then I'm forcing him to fail, and I'm a bad coach, and I don't want to do that. So we did them here and there, but all things that were safe and comfortable to him. And I think, again, that's important, very important. All right? So what we've done in those years where our guy maybe isn't maybe going to be able to handle some of those things, we've gone more to this, which is our packaged plays. This is something where our quarterbacks have 3 to 4 possible plays that we've given them based upon our formation and how the defense is going to respond to that formation. It takes a lot more time on the coach's behalf and my behalf as a coordinator to plan a lot of these things out. It takes a lot of time because you've got to really study the tape and know that this is how a defense is going to play. If this is what's happening, this is their response. Then if you do this, this is their response to that. You've got to have some great tape to do some of these things. But this is something we have leaned on now for the last couple of years to make sure that we always have the answer to a potential problem. It's great for our quarterbacks, again, like the last guy I just showed on tape there, who maybe doesn't have the greatest arm in the world, but has a lot up here and is very smart, giving them a sequential, systematic scenario 1, 2, 3, 4, and then allowing them to work through those things to get our offense in the best situation has been absolutely tremendous for us and has really been a lot more towards where we've leaned now in the last couple of years. So here's one of them. This was our quarterback his junior season in 2017. Struggled again, grasping a lot of the offense and stuff, so we simplified things a lot. And this is a look at one of our package plays here in a particular game. He ended up being our state championship quarterback this year in 2018. We still kept things real simple, but this was one of our package plays for him. When teams wanted to play cover 0 against us, we like to put our best receiver one-on-one backside to see what you're going to do with that. And if we were going to get 0 looks, then we had this package play where the front side would just run a simple bubble. So in the event that it was a zone coverage, we could easily throw that bubble over there because the backside had been shut down by them using 2 players over our explosive receiver. So we could throw that bubble. If you got a 0 look, though, obviously bubble's not great against that and it's dead. That means we've got one-on-one backside. It would be an automatic post on the backside then. So it's just pretty much a pass-pass package play here. We obviously have got a 7-man box. They're playing a bear front, and we've got cover 0 on the perimeter here. So the top side, you're going to see them run a bubble. He's going to look at the bubble just to make sure he keeps those guys over there, and then his eyes have already come back to his post. The ball is going there no matter what. The systematic approach was check 1, if not 1, go to 2. 1 was the bubble's closed, I'm coming back to the post, and we hit the post for a major, major play here and a big touchdown in a conference game against a ranked opponent. Again, having an answer, okay, having an answer for what they're going to do, giving our kids a systematic way to be right out there on the field on a Friday night, okay? So what are we looking for? Again, like our RPOs, we're looking for things that strain you, all right? Formations you don't like. Sometimes we've done this out of quads, which I'm going to show you here, stacked wings, etc. Lots of different things that we feel like maybe you don't line up the best to. I think the great part about this is your quarterback has to be an intelligent kid, which we've been very fortunate to have here. They don't have to maybe be the greatest talent in the world. They have a very systematic approach that makes them feel confident, that makes them feel like they have all the answers out there. And again, they understand that they're doing something pretty high level here. And when they can execute those things, they really develop a lot of confidence in themselves. And you can see them almost feel great when they come up the sidelines having done these things, because they really feel like this is something next level that they've done. And it is. But you can kind of feel that confidence grow in themselves, and that's when you start to really get something going on offense, when your quarterback's got some of that confidence. So we'll take a closer look at some of these things here and show you. So I'm gonna switch over real fast, and I'm gonna show you a couple of these moving PowerPoints here, so you can really get to see kind of what we're talking about in regards to how we approach this. So here's our first one. All right, this is called Dallas. It's a quad set. So we're going to come out in quads. No matter what, we're going to run bubble to the right. We're going to have a choice route to the left. So here's what we're looking for in our progression here. Really nice use of PowerPoint. All right, number one, we are going to check the leverage to quads. If they don't put at minimum 3.5 over 4, then we are going to throw the bubble. All right, that is number one. Quarterback We'll call it quick. We line up. We're out in quads. Quarterback looks. If there's 3 over 4, he's throwing the bubble. Progression's over. Snap the ball. Throw the bubble. Okay? If they, for some reason, have 3.5 or 4 over 4 in any variation, doesn't got to be the free safety coming down there, but that's just for your graphic there. If they put 3.5 or 4 over 4, he will now go to step 2, because the bubble is shut down. He will go to step 2, which is this. He will look backside for his choice route, and based upon that corner's alignment, he will give our backside guy a route to run. Could be hitch, could be slant, could be fade, whatever. Might be a speed out. He will give him a signal for that, okay? So that's it. 1's closed, I look to 2. If that corner, he feels like he can come after him, then he will give him his choice route over there. If they have a second defender in that window, where that route is then closed, 1 is closed, 2 is closed. There's only 5 players left on the field that can still play football. They've got 3.5 or 4 over here. They've got 2 over there. That means the box is now a 5-man box, and we're going to run draw. And he'll just tell the lineman, he'll repeat Dallas, 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 and then we'll run draw. It's all a numbers game, so this is a pass, run, packaged play where we feel like we can't lose. Okay, and so here's a couple of clips of us doing this in a game now, so you can see what this looks like. Switch it back over here. Okay, so this is one game in order. This is in chronological order here. I'm going to show you now. So here's the first time we do this. We line up in quads. You see him give the signal to the backside guy. They're playing 4 over 4 up top. He slings this hitch down to the bottom. Easy gain. Okay, easy gain. 4 over 4 up top. It's closed. I'm looking backside. There's my signal. Here we go. So that's the first time we run it. Second time we run it. They're playing 3 over the 4 now. So we just threw the ball back here. Now there's 1, 2, 3 over 4. That corner tries to knife our bubble and blows contain. We score a touchdown on bubble. 3 over 4. Automatic bubble throw. Okay, there it is. Next time we do it, we've thrown the backside route. We've thrown the bubble for a touchdown. Now you get 4 over 4. This guy rolls over to the hash to play 1.5 over 1. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are left in the box. So we go draw. And get a really good carry out of it. That's 3 consecutive plays throughout the course of the game where we mixed this quad set in and got each one of them in a little different order, but we got each one of those 3, and it was great for us. You know, you run this 3 or 4 times a game, and we kind of tap this thing out here. We get a 10-yard hitch, we get a bubble for a touchdown, and we get a big, 15-yard run here off of the draw. That's great stuff. That's a very productive play for us in the course of a game, okay? So the next one is what we call warrior. This is when we play against one of our four-man front teams that we'll see. And again, this is all a game plan thing. This is against the one specific team here that we've gone against. But again, I want to show you the progression and kind of the level of what it takes here to develop some of these package plays now. So this is what we're looking for out of this one. Again, all these routes are set. They're all set. So the kids know that when we call Warrior, this is what's going to happen. Okay? This time, the number one read is going to be the backside guy. If we get an 8-yard cushion, we're going to throw that backside route right away. That's number one. If that corner comes down inside of 8, then we're going to consider that closed. He will go to number 2 in his progression. Number 2 is to look up high. If he sees 2 defensive backs up high on the hashes, he knows he's going to get their cover 4 look. That's what this team does. He's going to get cover 4, okay? If he has that, then he's going to throw this hook route right in this window right here, okay? He's going to throw that hook route right between that Mike and Sam linebacker. That Sam's going to get pulled away with that arrow. This team's answer to teams that were beating them up on the shorter routes then was to do this. They would come down and they would play man, and they'd bring that free safety down there closer to the box and put on a little bit of pressure. So if you looked up high, one's closed, you look up high, there are no safeties there. That means both have to be down near the box at this point in time. They're playing man-to-man. Then we're going to throw the post over the top because there's nobody sitting up there deep on the hashes. Again, a sequential order where we have answers for everything that can possibly happen in this given scenario here, okay? So here's a look at us doing these things. Little close. He's at about 7. This is our quarterback in 2016. It's his first game ever, first start ever, coming off a state runner-up, replacing the quarterback that had done a great job for us, a little bit nervous. So normally you could probably throw this ball up top, but he was a little bit nervous and didn't want to. We're playing at Lucas Oil Stadium, a lot of fans there. So he did not want to make some mistakes. So he doesn't go. You may look at that and say, well, that's pretty open. He decides not to go with that here. He's going to instead go down to the bottom of the screen. Again, we've got the cover 4 look. There's our little hook route, kind of a whip, a deep whip. We're going to sit it right in there. All right, we're going to sit it right in there. Here it is, full speed. Just sit down right in that window. Bang. Nice, easy pitch and catch. All right, here we are again. We check into it now. He looks down low, thinks it's closed, which he's right. That guy's at about 6.5. So he's going to look up top for this whip. There it is, working for distance. Nice, easy pitch and catch again. Having answers, okay, having some answers. Here we are in a different year. Different team, different quarterback, different group. Same play, same concept. This is this kid's first start now. All right, this is a ranked game. I think we're number 2. This team in blue's number 5. It's a big-time game for this kid. Again, don't want to force him into maybe some of the RPO stuff. Let's give him a sequential system where he can feel like he's right all the time. Bottom's closed, top's open, got the cover 4 look. There's our little whip sitting down. All right? Later in the game, we got a nice cushion down here at the bottom of the screen. He's going to think that's open. He's right. Fire that hitching on the chains. Easy first down for a simple pitch and catch. Putting a lot of that mastery and that stuff into the quarterback's hands here, letting him build and develop that confidence. Here we are again. You look at the bottom. We're kind of right on the edge of whether that thing's open or not. He makes the decision it's open. He gets a little bit of bail out of that corner. That's another 7-yard hitch that we get right there. Okay? Last one then I'll show you. Again, this was just for a specific team and a specific situation here. But again, just kind of show you what it takes to go into building some of these things for you. All right, we call this one Tiger. Okay, call this one Tiger, playing a 50 team. So number 1, we're checking bubble leverage. Okay, checking bubble leverage here. Do we have it? Do we have bubble leverage? So if we do, we're going to throw the bubble out there. No need to look somewhere else. If we've got bubble leverage, we're going to fire that bubble out there, okay? Next, if they take the bubble leverage away, that means they had to loosen the box up some. That means they got to be playing 6 there, all right? They've walked one of those outside backers out to take away that trips. We're going to run trap, Okay, we're going to run trap. So the last one was a pass, pass, pass package play. This one, and the quads was a pass, pass, run. This one is going to be pass, run, pass. Okay, so if the bubble's taken away, that means the box is loose. We're going to run our trap. Their answer to teams that were beating them with the trips and running the ball well was to bring that free and roll him closer to the box and get him near the middle of the field and then leave their corner backside one-on-one. We felt like that was a great matchup for us. So if they had to bring a seventh guy back near the box somehow and that free had to get himself involved more, that means that one of our better receivers was going to get one-on-one with their corner. So what we had instructed him to do is run what we called a real lazy fade. And essentially the first couple of times we call this play, take the play off and just kind of jog yourself around, which my guys really never do. But we told him to do it on purpose. And then when we saw that free had moved in the middle of the field, we would notify him the next time that we go with Tiger that he needs to take that real lazy start and get that corner to fall asleep. And then we were going to convert that into a fade, and we just called it a lazy fade. So that's what we were going to do. So here's a good look at it here. The first time that we run it in that game, like I was just telling you, and this is what we get out of it. So this is Tiger on the very first rep. You can tell that guy's tucked in pretty tight. He certainly does not have leverage over our trips over here. They're playing the shell that we thought they were going to play. We're going to still run. Our linemen don't know this. Our linemen don't know where the ball is going to go, and they don't need to, okay? They know they're going to run trap, and if trap gets handed off, then we're blocking for trap. They have no idea a bubble's about to be thrown right now, and that's fine. It's behind the line of scrimmage. They can go downfield anyway. It doesn't matter. So they're going to block for trap. You can see our guards pulling. Here we go. We're running trap to the left. Quarterback puts the ball in the belly. They've lost complete leverage out here. We throw this bubble out, and now the fastest kid on our team has got the bubble in all kinds of space with only two defenders left. And we got two blockers for him. He takes off and pretty much just runs a 100-meter dash right down the sideline there, and we're off. Big play early in the game for us. A big play early in the game for us. So, again, trying to get your kids into a great position. Maybe they can't handle the RPO stuff. There's definitely a way to still develop those types of things through package plays where you can do some next-level stuff. But as a coach, you might have to work a little bit harder, be a little bit more creative. But again, it's all about putting your kid in a position to be successful and your team to be successful as well. Okay? I appreciate your time. Again, if you got questions, please feel free to ask. But that is our RPO and package plays presentation. Thank you very much.